Hey there, homeowners and potential home buyers. My name is Amir Syed, and I'm here with my good friend Joseph Riendeau.
Hello.
Of State Farm here locally in Chicago. And over the years, I've received a lot of questions throughout the home buying process from potential first-time home buyers, especially about what is all involved in homeowners insurance. So I've compiled a handful of those questions, and I brought in an expert, someone that we really trust and has done a great job for our past clients to be able to answer some of these questions in the most simple and layman's terms as possible. So first and foremost, Joseph, why does someone need homeowners insurance?
Besides the fact that you require it.
Right. We require as lenders.
Well, you're going to need homeowners insurance because basically you're not going to have the six figures in your bank account. Well, I won't assume that you don't, but most people are not going to have the six figures in their bank account to rebuild their whole home from scratch. So basically a homeowner insurance policy is an agreement with us to say we're going to share that risk with you should anything bad happen to your home.
Right. And if you do actually have a mortgage on your home, the mortgage lender will actually require and mandate that homeowners insurance is in place. Mm-hmm. So what are some things typically covered in homeowners insurance?
Well, a lot of the basics that you're going to find is fire, water damages, hail, weather. Those are most common. A little less common, you'll find theft, vandalism, really the basics: fire, water, theft, vandalism, and weather.
So typically, when one is thinking about getting homeowners insurance, right? What is the major difference between renter's insurance and homeowners insurance?
Well, a renter's insurance policy is, first of all, much cheaper. But it's just covering your personal property because wherever you are, or whether it's a condo that you're renting or an apartment, you have no stake in the walls or the plumbing or the flooring. That's not yours, so it's not yours to worry about. You're just worried about your stuff. Your couches, your TVs, and what have you. But as far as like a condo or a homeowner's insurance policy, now you're adding the structure because that's yours. It's your responsibility. When that gets damaged, you can't call anybody to repair that. That's you.
And typically, does the insurance vary? You know, where the property is located, how large the property is, people's past claims with insurance. What can you tell us more about that?
All of those things you just named play a part. One thing people don't realize is that your zip code plays a huge part in it because if you're buying a $300,000 home next to Michael Jordan's house, now that property might be worth a lot more, but that area is going to be very safe. It's going to be secured. Obviously, Michael Jordan chose to live there. But you put that same home in certain areas on the south side of Chicago, now there's a lot more crime, there's a lot more fire and theft. So those type of factors play in because now there's a higher chance of claims, so now your rate's going to be higher just to offset those potential losses. And to touch on some of the other things, yeah, your previous claims will play a factor. A lot of companies use 3 to 5 years as a window, where the last 3 years play into a part of whether we can actually write you or not, and the last 5 years play a part in how we rate you.
So if I'm with, let's say, for example, Allstate, right? Yeah. And I had a claim with them, and 4 years goes by, I'm like, I want to get a new insurance provider. They'll never know about this claim. Do you have a central system that you guys all communicate to?
Yeah, all insurance companies can go to a consumer report because every major insurance company reports all claims for this purpose. Because otherwise, you're going to bounce around to Farmers, Allstate every year, put in a $15,000 claim, but get those beautiful rates. So we're going to track you every single time. But I mean, that's also if once that drops off your record, 5 years, yeah, you're going to get those fresh, beautiful rates.
Okay, so it took me about 5 years. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So when one is thinking about picking an insurance provider, right? There are some big names out there, some small names. So obviously State Farm is a big name. Allstate's another one. Farmers. How should someone go about picking that suitor, not solely based on the lowest premium?
Well, a lot of it is unfortunately factored into your price range. There's a lot of companies that are tailored to lowering rates because they don't have as many services for you. If you call a company, and I'm not going to name any companies on camera, but you call a company that has just a phone center, they don't have actual people that you can talk to, yeah, that might factor into a lower rate because now you don't have a direct source, so it's cheaper for them. But you have to also understand that in a claim, that's also all you're going to get. You're not going to have someone walking you through the process. You're going to have a call center that you might get bounced around to. So that's one factor. Another is just, is it a big enough company to where you're not going to be worried about them denying your claim? Because there's a lot of substandard companies out there that are going to go ahead and give you the runaround because they're smaller companies. They don't have as much money backing them, so they're going to be sticklers on paying you out. Whereas an Allstate, a State Farm. They're bigger companies. They have their reputation at stake, plus they have the money backing them, so they're more likely to pay these claims.
In order to keep the premium as low as possible, have a clean driving history, I'm assuming?
Absolutely.
As least amount of claims, having a security system in the home, does that help?
Yes, that actually is another thing that can provide a big discount, especially the more premium your policy is, the more premium we take off. So a security system that monitors theft, burglary, and fire, and that reports to central location with ADT, Brinks, what have you, that's going to also provide a discount.
Okay. In terms of payments, are homeowners insurance payments typically paid monthly, yearly? How does that all work?
You tell us.
Okay.
You guys, if they're escrowing,
Right.
typically it's going to have to be paid in full. So we just send you the invoice and the client the invoice, and it's taken care of at closing. Once you guys no longer have a requirement for that, then they have the option. They could do in full, monthly, quarterly, semi-annually. These are options once they fulfill their obligation to you.
Absolutely. So how it works specifically is anyone that's placing less than 20% down on their home typically will mandate what's called escrows, where 1/12 of the property taxes, 1/12 of the yearly homeowner insurance is included in your monthly mortgage payment. And at those time of payment, we'll just pay those payments to the insurance provider once a year, at the county taxes here, for example, locally in Chicago, twice a year, right? Typically what happens is at closing, the new home buyer will pay the entire premium up front, and then every subsequent payment will get fed into this escrow account to pay you on the anniversary of the homeowner's insurance policy. So that was wonderful, Joseph. Are there any questions that I may have not asked that any other home buyer or homeowner insurance person might ask?
I would say that the only thing we really haven't addressed here would be questions that your clients or any insured should be asking their insurance agency during the process or even afterwards, because there's a lot of things on a homeowner's policy that aren't guaranteed. For instance, you might find that your home is at risk for sewer and backup drain loss, which means that water comes up in the lowest level of your building and floods your basement. Not all homes are at risk for this. Not all homes have a basement. Not all homes are in an area where sewers or have a tendency to do that. So you really want to ask your insurance agent, should I add this? What does that look like? Because if you don't ask it, there's oftentimes an insurance agent's not going to ask you, do you want this? So that's one thing that you'll definitely want to take a look at. Another thing is that you have the right to see how we're calculating the cost for your home, because you guys calculate it based on how much they're selling it for. And then an appraisal comes in and talks about how much it costs based on its market value. But for us, we don't pay attention to any of that. We look at how much does it cost me to rebuild that for you. So you have the right to see that, because it might be less than your amount, it might be more than your amount. So that's another thing that insurers should be taking a look at.
So as soon as you have your consultation with your real estate agent and your lender, it's important to also reach out to the homeowner's insurance provider to figure out what that amount is, because oftentimes what we both see is that people will start seriously investigating a homeowner's insurance suitor when they're under contract for a home, and they did not budget or anticipate how much that premium amount would be, and it throws off their total monthly budget. So we've talked about that. Start early in the process, talk to the realtor, talk to the lender, get an idea what the homeowner's insurance cost will be before you start your trek on the home buying journey.
Absolutely, yeah. It's going to take you 5 to 10 minutes on the phone with me, and then I'm going to work a quote out, and that's your entire responsibility. But the sooner you get it, the easier it is for you guys to figure out your debt to income ratio.
Yeah, and so I really recommend that you stick to the old adage, you pay for what you get.
Absolutely.
Use one of the bigger names. Make sure that you get a good feel for them. Yeah, so guys, if you have any comments in the bottom of this video, please go ahead and post them in case we missed anything, and then one of us will respond to you. But definitely start the process early, get more education. Hopefully this helps. So thank you, Joseph.
Thank you for inviting me.
My pleasure. Thanks, brother.